Hi, it's Josh Spinks. We've got the green dog today, the 2003 KX250. So the plan today, this episode, is we're going to go and shake the bike down. It's got a fresh piston, take it nice and easy, see what the bike's like, get up to speed, get the lap time, that's the important part of this bike. And then if you stay till the end, we're going to bring the big dog, the KX500 out, just to see how that compares. A 500 against a 250, and just to compare and to see the difference in lap time. I think that'll be interesting. Okay, just looking around this beast then, we've got the 997 handlebars, which my friend Justin, the bike owner, he runs those all the time. ARC levers, flexi, really nice and smart and trick. But we always talk about the suspension. We've got the A-kit shower suspension here. This has been worked on by Pro Circuit. So it's got Pro Circuit internals. The sticker on the back has got a name, I'm not sure who that is, but it's a Supercross setting. I pushed it down, it nearly broke my wrist. So that's going to be something interesting for the track today. As we keep going around here, obviously not to mention the triple clamps to match there as well, Pro Circuit, just tying it all in. SM Pro wheels built by Doc Wobb for this bike. He imported it in as well from America. Pro Circuit, has to be Pro Circuit exhaust for the cowies to match the suspension there. Of course, the shock, that jumps out as well. A-kit, you can tell with all the adjustments, all the anodizing, slightly bigger shaft there as well, just to handle the heat and so on. So that's gonna feel really quite nice. But yeah, nice grippy seat cover just to tie in there. Nice wheel set, and just a really trick looking bike. So some finer details here. I say this bike from brand new has probably only done 15 hours. So Justin spoke to Doc and he recommended taking some of the original parts off just to keep them to one side. It's very hard to get these low hour bikes. So what's been done is some Cerakoting. You can see with the colour of the engine there, really nice touch. I really like the bottom of these forks, anything semi-factory. Really cool in your face, you know, nice and flashy. And then it's the Hahn hubs with that nice sort of browny look, same with the caliper. So originally it had the dome rims that didn't have the edges, just nice rounded. But it makes sense to take those parts off and not destroy them. So yeah, just a really pretty looking bike. I like the fact that the frame's been kept the same colour. And I don't know, sometimes factory bikes, just these little bits that jump out is better than, you know, just chucking loads of shiny parts on it. So I really like the look of the bike, and let's see how it rides in comparison to how it looks.
Different levels I cannot relate. You never win if you playing it safe.
So we've definitely got a Supercross front end on this bike. The forks are stiff. So 101 happens to have a little arena cross track. So let's try and hit some whoops. Feel like I got a bit of whiplash after that. Missed one, I think, didn't I? A little bit. I don't know how they hit them big ones. That is absolutely nothing, is it, in comparison? Scary. Very scary.
Anyway, let's see the lap.
So shout out to my good friend Justin Frami. This is his beast, the Suzuki from the other episode. Is also his, so thank you for providing us some awesome bikes, bringing the bikes to the track and just being a good friend. Really appreciate that. And of course, P1 Construction, back in the series. We're really bringing some cool content now, I believe. These bikes are awesome, so we're trying to find some niche things. Always drop us a comment if there's a bike that you're thinking, I'd love to see that. We'll make it happen if we can. And just a big shout out to everyone. This is a lot of fun. The KX250 was really, really interesting to ride. Just as I expected, a lot of bottom end. Very clean jet and it's running really, really good. The pickup was strong, the mid-range really, really strong. It's not a bike you can rev, interestingly. I kind of knew that before, just with the KX characteristics. So as soon as you rev this bike, you feel it really dive off. But when you're using the gears, third and fourth, it pulls like an absolute train. So really enjoyed it. The bit that held us back a little bit was the fact that we knew that the front end was a full-on supercross setting, probably for a 250F, a 4-stroke. So 2021 is the year of the forks, a full pro circuit supercross setting. Just held it back on the feel of the corners and kind of on the front brake and the grip. So I think it compromised a little bit of speed there. But we jacked the back of the bike up, took some sag out of it, balanced it out, stiffened the shock just to run the bike stiff. And because this was the Supercross setting, it worked a lot better on the whoops over there on the Arena Cross. So it sounded amazing. It was a lot of fun. The brakes were unbelievable. And yeah, interesting bike to ride, to say the least. So with a pretty solid lap, not really turning tight. I was going to the edges of the track using a wider line, just because of the feel of the forks, but it came in the lap time at a 141.95. So a little bit off the Suzuki, a little bit off the Honda that we've done in the previous episodes. Not because of the engine or the feel of the bike, just because the turning was a little bit compromised. And but still, interestingly, a little bit faster than the VMX DN bike that I rode this year. So kind of sat where I expected it to be. If the front end was a bit plusher and I could really nail into the corners and not worry about the front end too much, maybe I could make that difference up to be on par with the Honda. But like quite a steep angle on the fork on this bike, the Kawasaki. It's nice. It feels quite light in the air as well. I could chuck it around on this tabletop here. So yeah, just the interesting characteristics of the engine. Very pokey, snappy. Not hard to ride, really, just quite interesting. Just have to use the gearbox a little bit more than you'd expect on the two-stroke. So we had some fun, it was good. So for this episode, I thought it'd be really interesting to bring the KX500 out as a comparison to the smaller engine. And I only did a few warm-up laps actually on the KX500. It felt comfortable. It sat into the corners really well. I could use some tighter lines, interestingly, on that bike. And obviously it had the grunt in a straight line. So very different bike to ride. Like the throttle feels quite stiff, it's hard to control, it's a challenge. But overall it handled and turned better than I expected and remembered the KX500. So the lap time came in on that bike at a 140.6. So that's right in the mix with some of the other two-strokes that we've done, even newer bikes. And over, like 4 seconds faster than when we did this over a year ago. So obviously the track, the conditions, the way it flows changes day to day. I think there's a bit of time there, maybe from the other year, but just made me remember how cool these 500s are. And if you do use them correctly, and you can be a smooth rider and hold your line, they can go just as fast as the 250, if not faster. It's because it turned equally as good, if not a slight bit better. It was more the being able to point the bike and just shoot it. Obviously, when you bury the throttle on a 500, you go from point to point quicker. So if you can find a way to just keep a nice bit of corner speed, and it goes from A to B quicker, that's the time right there. Because of the modern fork in the 500, it actually holds up on the jumps, so I don't feel like it gets swallowed into the jumps maybe like the Honda 500 that I've got. So it's a cool bike because there's not a lot of negatives for it. It's a little bit of a long wheelbase, the KX500, so maybe there's bikes out there that turn better, but it still turns well. It goes from A to B really fast, and you can still scrub some speed off on the jump because it's not wallowy and soft. So to me, that's where the time was made. What I really enjoyed today was riding a bike of this era, 2003, but something that felt brand new. It's only got 15 hours on the engine, so everything felt really nice. Like I say, the brakes, the clutch feel, the gearbox, the selection of the gears was just like a modern bike, just straight through, no problem. Really positive feel on the gearbox. The seat cover I really like. It's not ribbed or anything like that, but it's got a nice grip to it. Not too grippy that you can move around, so I really like that. That jumped out to me. But when I was throwing a few shapes over the tabletop, I just felt the frame itself, where your grip is quite slippy, felt like my feet were raising up a little bit. So that's something that kind of made me a bit nervous. When I was cranking it over, my feet lifted off the foot pegs quite a bit, but you can see there's some grip tape there. That's going to help the situation. But maybe we could carry that through to the bottom there and just give it a little bit more. But through the whoops, I just think I was half committed anyway, and I was holding on for dear life, so not too much of an issue. But we know the actual AMA Supercross whoops are different gravy. So yeah, really, really interesting, cool bike to ride. A lot of fun, smile on my face with it whilst I was out there. So yeah, another good day.